It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. I recently received another letter from Mike Cohn, and I thought it'd be good to turn this into a podcast episode because I found it a topic that I really enjoy. The name of the topic or subject of the email was Find the Fun. And he starts off with, once in an Agile Mentors live Q&A, someone asked, how important is it for Agile teams to define a specific problem they're trying to solve? I thought that was an interesting question. My initial response was, that's super important. As Yogi Berra said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up somewhere else. So yes, often it's important for a team to know which specific problem it wants to solve. But then again, Gandalf from Lord of the Rings said, not all who wander are lost. I'm very open to the idea that when we start out a project, we might know the exact problem at first that we're trying to solve, but we might wander around a little bit before we actually discover the solution. Let me pause there for a second. This is a powerful, powerful start. I really do believe that a lot of times what we initially think the problem is could be something completely different than the actual problem. I've seen on several occasions where teams and organizations go in with the advice of a subject matter expert or someone, one particular individual reports an issue, so they go and investigate and find out there is an issue, but it may or may not be the same exact issue that the person reported. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, while it's important to have a North Star, I don't know that it's important to lock down specifics until you actually investigate and figure out what's going on. So he goes on to say, take game studios, for example. Game studios often divide their work into phases of pre-production and production. So if you're observing teams working in a game studio, you'll notice a change. The team goes from, we're trying to figure out what we're building, to now we know what we're building, we're just trying to make more of it. Maybe they need to add more levels or more monsters to their game. At that point, they're simply in production mode. But during pre-production, you hear them say phrases like, find the fun, meaning, what will be uniquely fun about this particular game that will make it valuable or different from all the others? That same thinking applies in business apps, except instead of asking find the fun, we ask where's the value? Meaning, what will be unique about this product or feature that will make it worth creating? Now, I thought that's a great question. I think sometimes when we walk into a product or project and we're trying to figure things out, oftentimes we get raked across the coals. And here's what I mean by that. Mike, I'm so glad you kicked this off. It's going to send me right into something that I teach, and I may be exclusively teaching this, but you're certainly welcome to grab it if you'd like. I teach a concept of po ba fa ta, and let me explain what that is. This is where you have a product owner that is not omnipotent, a product owner that is not the subject matter expert, or even if they are the subject matter expert, they're not taking on that role. They lean in and rely on business analysts, functional analysts, technical analysts, and other people to help them be successful. The business analyst might be aware of the consumer's needs and understand from a consumer perspective which things are going to be the most fun or which things are going to be the most important. It may include some people from UI or UX who are there to help guide the journey so that we can make sure that we're providing the best possible product or service for our end consumers. There may even be a functional analyst or some type of operational analyst who understands how the product's supposed to function and how it's strategically going to guide us to reach a certain goal. So if we were building a business relations app or whatever the case may be, this might be the person who understands the most about what direction we're trying to travel in and what the outcome is supposed to be of this particular function or application so that they can make sure it matches and aligns with our North Star. Once again, an incredibly important person that we often don't take into consideration. And then finally, the technical analyst, because sometimes we may have some very specific things that are being asked for, and it may be asked to be built a specific way. I remember not that long ago, we had someone who had some very specific written requirements. And when we analyzed those requirements, one of the managers jokingly said, yeah, I guess we're going to have to go find some Visual Fox Pro developers and start creating WCS pages to satisfy these needs. And, all joking aside, if we would have went strictly with the way things were written, we may have wound up going down that path. But instead, we did a logical thing, the common sense thing, and talked about what would make it better and made sure that it aligned to all three of those sets. Now, the goal of the product owner is to make sure they understand the strategic whereabout and they understand the North Star, that they understand how the product vision or strategy aligns with that North Star, and that they understand that that we can't please everyone all the time. You can't please 100% of the people 100% of the time. So sometimes it's let's make sure we're strategically aligned. Other times it's let's make sure we're doing what the consumer needs. And sometimes the consumer's needs change so fast. So it's how do we make sure from a technological standpoint that we're building something that's going to last or stand the test of time? I think all of those are important. Each one deserves careful consideration. So I don't, I'm going back to the email now. It says, so I don't think a team always needs to start off knowing the precise problem they're trying to solve. Sometimes a team needs to explore the solution space to find out its unique value. It's important to do this quickly, though, so that you can end up succeeding with Agile. What I can tell you is instead of just saying quickly, I'm going to go with time box. It's important that you time box these things because I feel like research is incredibly important. But if you give untime box research, that's going to cause teams or individuals to spend countless amount of time researching, and they'll never get to building the physical product or service. So my advice here is with a strong time box, we're going to spend 30 minutes looking at this or an hour or whatever the right amount is. That's going to allow us to be able to look forward and say, okay, I know what I'm trying to do. Let's govern and let's see if we can't get to where we're trying to get to. And if we have enough information, great. If what we find out isn't enough, it's the product owner's responsibility to decide whether they want to invest more time in continuing research or whether they say, we spent a lot of time researching this. I don't know that we're going to get the answer. Let's move in a different direction for now. But once again, that product owner should fall squarely on, or that product owner, that decision should fall squarely on the product owner's shoulders. There, I got it right that time. That's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a question or comment, make sure you reach out to us. Learn more at agiledad.com. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.